Hi everyone, this is Kathy with My Crafty Studio, and I am coming on with a Stitchy update. Today is March 1st, 2026, and I'm just going to give you a recap of February. I hope everyone is doing well, but I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm really excited. I think I mentioned in my last video that I took a couple of stitched pieces to the framer, and they have come back. So the first one, I can't remember the name of this, but this is a dimensions kit. I love the flowers. I made a mistake in my last video stating that I finished it in 2023. I actually finished it in 2003. And I couldn't be more pleased. The frame was a great choice. It was the right color of green. I'm just really happy with it. The framer that I used is a framer that she works with Colorado Cross Stitcher. Her business is Hephaestus Frames. It's a Greek name. I hope I pronounced it correctly. But anyway, this turned out just beautifully. And then my next framed piece, it is my Modern Folk Embroidery. I probably am not pronouncing this correctly as well. It's the Halsingland Blommor. And I did mine in blues. So I stitched mine on a 28 count white Monaco. I used two different blues. I used the variegated blue 93 and then a complementary blue 517. And this is how it turned out. And I cannot tell you how happy I am to have this. I started it in 2023. It was at I think it was at a retreat that I started this, and then I finished it in January of 2026. I wanted to get it finished at the end of 2025, but you know, there you go. But I stitched it. All of the solid lines were the DMC 517, and then everything that was on the inside of the design was with the variegated color 93. So it turned out great. It was stitched 2/2, and I love the frame. I just love everything about this. Love the blue. It's all good. And this was stitched, or rather framed by Hephaestus as well, Hephaestus Frames. I will put her details down below. And yeah, she did a beautiful job. And I had a start and a finish. I was working on the ornaments. It was stitching with the Housewives ornaments. It was Santa with Cardinals, Mrs. Claus with Cardinals, and then there was a bonus chart that came with it, which is called Cardinal Couple. But this is, I started Mrs. Claus with Cardinal this February, and I fully finished it. And this ornament piece I got from Fat Quarter Shop. So they came out, the designs came out, they're digital downloads. They came out, I think, in November of 2025. There were some geese. I didn't stitch those. I love Cardinals, and so I was just interested in the Cardinals. And this is Santa with Cardinal. And then it's kind of, I picked these because it has a full finish. It's finished on the back. I didn't have to do anything. And then to show you the piece for Mrs. Santa. And then the third one was Cardinal Couple. And these were stitched on 28 count Monaco. It was tea dyed Monaco, and I did a second dunk in coffee tea dye. And then I did the call for colors with the exception of the blue. I think it called for rain shower, but I used deep sea blue because that's what I had sitting next to me. It is also, if you don't necessarily need the over-dyed floss, because they're just for little small stitches on the design, so it's not, you know, you could use any blue to fill in the stitches for the blue. So anyway, I am really pleased with my full finishes, and I will be right back. I'm gonna put all of these things away and I will show you some of my stitching. The next segment that is up will be the stitching that I worked on. It was Floral February, and I had picked out a couple of whips that were on my list for 2026 and worked on those a little bit. The first one that I worked on, well, these aren't in any order, but I did work on The Winter Is Past by Blackbird Designs. And I'm stitching this on a 32 count Ancient by Picture This Plus, and it's 2/2, and I'm using the called for floss. And it is just lovely. I love stitching on this. I love the blues and the greens. So if you love Blackbird, you like blue and green, this would be the sampler for you. The next stitch up is Roses for Ruby by the Scarlett House. I love stitching on this too. It's very comforting. And I finished the border. And I'm using the called for threads as well, with the exception of, this is actually, the called for is for silk. And I'm using Schoolhouse Red for Gentle Arts, and it should have been Gloriana, but I think it's turning out just beautiful. I think it was a good red, so I just left it as is. Instead of getting the Gloriana Schoolhouse Red, I'm just using the Gentle Arts Schoolhouse Red, but everything else is the called for. I also worked on Rosewood Manor Flowers of the Quaker. This is also a very fun stitch. And I'm stitching this on a 28 count Everything Else by Mystic Fabrics. I think it's Lugana, I believe. And I'm using the called for Valdani threads. And that is my progress so far. And believe it or not, I still have a little bit of the Christmas stitching bug. I finished those Santa and Mrs. Claus Cardinal ornaments, and I pulled out my Midnight Santa stocking, and it's by Teresa Kogut. I picked this up at the Jingle Ball 2025, and I originally started this on a 28 count chimney. I was doing one thread over one fabric, 1/1 basically, and this was my progress. And when I got to the tree, I didn't like how my stitches were looking. I liked the little checkerboard banner across the top there, but I just wasn't liking how my stitches were looking. I love the color of the fabric, so I ordered a couple of different fabrics. She got it out to me very quickly. I ordered a 46 count and a 40 count to see which one I liked, and I chose the 46 count. I'm actually really enjoying stitching on 46 count. In fact, some of my other projects I'm gonna move up to the 46 count. But anyway, like I said, I've really enjoyed working on this, and this is my progress so far. So it's been a lot of fun to stitch. But yeah, I did change out one of the colors. I changed out the green for the trees. I think I'm using Blue Spruce by Weeks Dye Works instead of the called for. I think it was a DMC color, but I wanted a little bit bit brighter green than the color that was called for. So that is what I'm choosing to do with that. Otherwise, everything else is called for. My work stitch, it's the Windmill, or Windmill by Mill Hill. It's a Mill Hill kit. And my progress is this right here. And I normally stitch these on paper. However, the paper that came with the kit was the grid was off, so the holes didn't match up, so the X's wouldn't look right. So I am stitching it on a 14 count Fiddler's Ada. So I just switched that out. I just pulled it from my stash. I'm also working on, I'm going to a couple of retreats. I started a small. When I do my smalls, I usually make one for myself and one for the recipient. So I started working on the small for one of the retreats, and I won't show that until they're completed. So there was that stitching. Next up, I think I'm going to talk about plans. Like I said, I still have a little bit of the stitching bug. I want to continue working on the Santa stocking. It's been a lot of fun. But I also picked up, when I went to pick up my framed pieces at Colorado Cross Stitcher, I picked up Birds of a Feather Christmas Heart. And I already had the fabric in my stash, so I just picked up the threads so I can work on that. Another start I want to work on is Heart of Many Colors by Keslyn's. I think this would be a good stitch to take to a retreat to have a lot of fill in. The Ornament Club, I am working on this as well by Hands On Design. So I'll be working on that. And as you well know, I love blue and green. And I saw this sampler, it's called Serendipity by Rosewood Manor. So I have kitted this up and we'll be starting it most likely after I get done with my FlossTube. But I just really liked that design. Also, when I ordered that design, I picked up another one from her. It was Pots of Flowers. This is an older design, but I love flowers, and so I picked that up to go in my stash. And because I'm into the Christmas ornament stitching, I kitted up, this was from the Jingle Ball as well, as Gather Round the Manger by Hands On Design. And the called for fabric was a 32 count Valaris by Fabrics by Stephanie. And I did not have that in my stash. And I didn't want to order online. I kind of wanted to get it started this coming week. So when I was at Colorado Cross Stitcher, I picked up a 32 count Steel Blue Lugana. This is just part of their main, oh, I thought it was a fat 8, but it was fat quarter. Fabric line. It's not anything hand dyed or anything like that, but it is a beautiful blue color and would work well with the called for DMCs on that particular pattern. So I would like to get those stitched up in the month of March. Also, someone gave me, my friend Debbie gave me In the Mountains by Sweet Wing Studio. And the called for fabric on this was a 32 count malachite. And I do have a malachite in my stash. However, it's already been started. I've already started a project on that, as well as the other, it's already been kitted with another project. So when I was at Colorado Cross Stitcher, I picked up a sage linen. It's a beautiful green color, and I will be stitching the design on this. So it's a good, it's actually an economical option if you are looking for malachite and can't seem to find it, or hand-dyed fabrics are a little bit pricier. So it's a good option as part of, it's a Zweigart base. It's part of their regular line. And again, that color is Sage. And let's see, my other plans, I have been working on going down, working through my finished stitches and getting those fully finished. So the next thing that's up is the Nativity collection. These are ornaments by Bucilla. So I don't know when I finish stitching these. I'll show them here in a second. But the copyright on this kit is 1991. I know that I purchased it on the secondary market, and I just used the called for fabric, which is an Aida, and the called for threads. So here are these stitched. I can't tell you what year I finished them. It was off and on throughout the years, but they're all completely stitched, and so now I'm gonna fully finish them this year to get them on my tree. So I think that'll be fun. My Fabric of the Month Club, I wanted to mention, I think I made a mistake. Well, I don't think I did make a mistake. When I was talking about the January colorway, it's actually called Meg. And it's this beautiful purple. And I think I mentioned May in my last video. So she does have a colorway May, M-A-E, completely different color. This is part of her Fabric of the Month Club. And, but this colorway is Meg. That was for January. And then the new colorway for February is called Dalliance. And it's a beautiful pink mauve color. It's really pretty. And that is by Red Thicket, and I'll mention her details down below. I ordered some fabric. I'm going to be starting a couple of the Patriot stitches that are coming out. So I went ahead and ordered some fabric to make sure that I had some choices on hand to see once I get the pattern and all of the floss which one would be the better choice. But I ordered Coffee Stain. This is 36 count. It's a really pretty neutral, and that's by Cedar River. Got that from the Cross Stitch Emporium. And then the other one I got was Overcast. It's 36 count as well by Cedar River. And so it's a really pretty neutral as well. And then I picked up a couple of patterns. Picked up Mary Snowman by Lucy Bean. I just think he's super cute. And then I ordered some patterns by Stickadine von der Weissenberg. I probably didn't say that correctly, so I apologize if I didn't. But I ordered the paper copies from Welcome Stitchery. And the first one up, I ordered the Winter Quaker Bell Pull. And I have an idea of the fabric and the thread that I'm going to use, but I didn't get that up because I have plenty of other things to work on. I also ordered the Flower Square Viola, and I'm going to most likely make this blue because I love blue. And then I've seen the Rose Quaker. Several different floss tubers have completed it or are working on it or, started it. And this is the pattern, Rose Quaker. And instead of using the pinks and the terracotta colors that were listed for the DMC, I've changed mine now to reds. I'm going to do mine in reds. And I kitted it up when I was at Colorado Cross Stitcher, but I would like to get started on that before I start talking about the different colors, because it may change my mind once again on that. I think that about covers everything that I've been working on. So for the month of March, I'm not aware of any any kind of hashtag, kind of like Floral February. I'm not aware of a hashtag in March. So I'm just going to kind of stitch on what's calling to me, because right now what's calling to me are Christmas. I don't know why. I'm just in the Christmassy mood. So I would like to get those ornaments that I mentioned done. And then also I would like to work some more on the stocking by Teresa Kogut. And of course, a couple of the new starts with the Serendipity. I'm very anxious to get that started. And I believe I'm stitching that on a 46 count. Like I said, when I started the 46 count on the Santa, I just really liked working on that fabric. So I am doing 46 count, I believe, for that. Or maybe it's this one. I think I'm doing 46 count on the Rose Quaker. So I stand corrected. I think it's 40 count on the Serendipity and then 46 count on the Rose Quaker. So yeah, I have plenty of stitching to do. Looking forward to seeing you guys in a few weeks, and I hope everyone has a great March, and I will see you soon. Oh, thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe. Bye.